1996, people really asked me, I recognized that I went through something very important. Standing one day in a house and seeing a woman and child, single mother coming to buy a home, she could not buy a home. She could not buy a home, and I recognized, boy, if she has a job, it's dawned on me that what we need to do is to move this entire industry to the future. I recognize that it's time to lift the curtain. It's time to shake the place. It's time to move people to the future. It's time to galvanize an industry that happened to stuck somewhere in the past and don't want to move forward. We recognize that we need to change the genetic of how we build homes. We need to bring the revolution that Steve Jobs brought with the iPod and all great American titans of industry who took something and moved it forward. We need to bring vision to something that did not have vision. We began to understand that don't sell homes, sell spaces according to the need of people. Tell me what space you need and I will give you. We recognize that you, like the car industry, will be able to select the quantity and the amounts of space that you need and component and place them in whichever place you want on the floor because new technology have changed. We recognize that the way we build today, partition is archaic. In a time where people can make a Caesar here and insert a camera to your heart and send you in the afternoon, we are still putting 2x4s, plastering, painting forever. Why do we do that? We recognize that the way we work, we build electricity with 2 studs and then we send electrician to drill holes in them, when we can put this molding around the floor and we can put it in fraction of the time. People say union will not like it. I truly believe that they will like, because we will open for them new market. People say code will not permit them. Change the code. Codes have been introduced long time ago. We can change them. We recognize that the car industry from revolutionary Ford factories moved to robotics. 70% of all cars are not touched upon by human being, and we can do it as well. And we came up with a system where with 7 partitions, interior partition and 6 exterior partition, you can do a variety of components and inside, and you will be able to select the components that you need and make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the trust in life is not to sink in ideas. Wake up in the morning and go to change the world. You wake up in the morning and you want to put this mother and child. I want to see this glitter of hope that I saw last night in this apartment, the wonderful work that you do to house this homeless veteran who gave so much to this country. It is a mission. It is a mission to build housing. I got a grant, and in 12 days we built the next home, the daughter of the Grow home on the campus of McGill University. This is the home that we built. Once again, not shattering architecture. I apologize once again, but what happened is that we designed a home for Claude, who once again lived on the ground floor and have a home office from which he will be able to launch his life. On the second floor we have Susie and Mark. She is a part-time employee and they want to get a foothold in the housing market. And a single mother who tried with 2 teenage kids who want to put their life together again. We gave her a place. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, no developer hide from me. I went and I buttoned them down whole. Hundreds and thousands of units are being built now in Montreal and in Canada. People came to me and say, what's going on, how we build? And one of the people who made tremendous amount of money from Grow Home started to fabricate places, and they fabricate this panel, all automated, and they are now being shipped to Europe, where I work in Bradford, where this demonstration unit was built, and many of them are being constructed. I recognize that I should not stop there. I recognize that I should, if I convince and created something in my city, what about the country? I will start to build communities. What I recognize is that it must be sustainable, that we need to understand culture, economy, society, and the environment. We recognize that what we need to do is create communities that are self-sustaining, where we understand the relationship between a variety of components. We need to understand that we cannot leave a major impact. We understand that you don't build to demolish, you build to adapt. And you need to change, and you build to change. We also understand the multiplier effect. If I can reduce cost in one, and I build many thousands, the effect can be tremendous. I can give homes to many, many thousands of families. We went on to develop principles that are listed in some of my books of how you build for communities, how you mix densities, and how you create healthy lifestyle for people in that place. I happen to work in a variety of cities. And one of the places in which I work, in Stony Plain, Alberta, who invited me to master plan the entire town. I recognize that this is what we are building here on the left, that we are building fragmented communities that are not related to each other. I need to create a master plan that brings them all together. I recognize that if you build neighborhood, they have to be east-west oriented, so most units will get sun. And park and urban agriculture need to form the core of them. In Cité Jardin, Montreal, once again, we introduce many principles and ideas. No cars, people park on surface, and there are core, very central core in those places around which people can congregate. And once again, there will be here on the top left, will be some ponds and areas, spaces in which kids can play. We created a society that we are playing more with our computers and television and not with each other. And these are where the places the kids will get their first experiences in social interaction and taking risk. Once you suck it out, engineer it out, you change the fabric of society just the same. We recognize that urban agriculture is not about people who cannot grow and afford tomatoes. I plant the seeds where people can interact with each other, and all of a sudden you see communities where they hug each other and talk to each other again and infuse this energy that we want to aspire to have. Narrow street, underground parking, what some of them. In Saint Nicolas, Quebec, I was invited by two gentlemen who wanted to create an entire community, large one in a forest. And what I recognize that I need to begin by studying trees and how they are and how they plant together. We went on to develop pattern of working with nature. We forgot the skills that used to be the fundamental of how we lived for centuries, millennia on this planet. So we develop all these patterns of how you build, and they are being taught to new generation of students who are coming to our university. We changed the formation of the lot. People say lot, only 50 by 100. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. We are moving forward, and our ideas need to develop as well. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's not measure, society is not counted by how we treat the well-to-do. They are well-to-do. Societies are measured by how we treat those who cannot care for themselves. This is who we are. This is what we be, core values. And what we went on is to make sure that every tree will be guarded, no deep foundation. We created homes where there are no window or north wall for not loss of energy. I was very fortunate to be invited to the Canadian Arctic. Met people who I did not know, who taught me so much. Elders who live in the snow and the ice for centuries. And I recognized that I was given a wonderful opportunity to build, to live with and build for innovative people in the far north of Canada. I was given an opportunity to design for them or work with them a sustainable community, taking into consideration wind and sun and cultural aptitude that define who we are. They taught me that land was given to us by God and it cannot be subdivided. This is what they believe in. There are so many values that we've forgotten that shape who we are, and this is what we have come to do. We created buildings that shelter, tall buildings that shelter low ones. And we developed patterns for building in northern climate that will take modern consideration and technology and bring them to the needs of Aboriginal Canadians. And this is what we designed, which is now once again under construction with colors that come from their vocabulary. In Cornwall, Ontario, I went to a community that really did not see the light. Often they invite me as a person of last resort. And I recognized that an entire community fell apart. 1,800 homes fell apart. People who lost their livelihood when the big factory shut off. People who did not have hope. You have to help them, work with them to build hope. And this is what happened to the dwellings. Look, deteriorated. I recognize that more than bad housing, it is a culture that promote and create the things that we need to change. Don't let this kid, this mother go to that stage. Let's work with them together. And we created a pattern in which, as you can see here on the right, we inserted Go Home and Next Homes into existing community to be a center, a cord that will inspire other people or developers to build other things. And this is what we have done in them. What is the next move for all of us? We are living through some of the most amazing time in our history. We talk really about greening the planet. We are attempting to invent the middle landscape, somewhere between urbanity and suburb. We are craving so much, and we are seeing next year, every car company will have at least one electric car. We are living in a paradigm shift. Take it how you will, but we are now, this decade, the coming decade will define the rest of the century. I have no doubt. It is no different than the Industrial Revolution. You can be cynical, but you can say, this is my time. I will work and help, and I will go and contribute to all these places. And when I wanted to think about analogy, I came with the car industry. It's so fitting that we are in Japan Society House. Because when the Japanese invented this vehicle, it was not a vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. It was a philosophy. You can build a car that will be dependable, lighter, new engine. And once again, will cost $1,800. This was the American response that year. This is what GM produced this year. Could those who work in the glass tower in Detroit, could have seen the future? I can tell you, when I'm standing right now here, on this wall around me, I see many statements. Many statements for New York, many statements for all of us on which we have to follow. I see many bold statements. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost. We saw how the Japanese taking over our amazing industry, how cities like Detroit have been decimated when jobs have been lost. Robotics were invented here. The power that we possess with our ideas is fascinating. We have great ideas here. We need to learn to make them happen. We need to learn to walk through walls. And once again, I believe that the Prius is Mark 1 of things to come. This is Mark 1. More things will happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe that all of us have to wake up very quickly, throw away the cynicism and move forward with a new mindset. Thank you so much.